defining moments just kind of sometimes appear. And this is one of those times. This tar sands pipeline was a pretty obscure thing even a few months ago, though people in the middle of the country and our indigenous environmental network have done an amazing job along the pipeline route of publicizing. But it has risen up to be a really, and I'm going to read you the story, the lead of the story that ran in the New York Times about an hour ago. Okay, see if I can get it up to read this. In the year, this is the lead of the story, and as I say, it was filed in the Times website about an hour ago. In the year since a cap-and-trade climate bill failed on Capitol Hill, a funny thing happened, gradually but unmistakably, to the U.S.-Canada pipeline project known as Keystone XL. It became the global warming fight's new guise. Okay? That's thanks to y'all. This fight, which is about climate justice, it's about the rights of people along that route, it's about a million other things, has also become the central fight. There's not an environmental group in the country that's not aware of it and taking part in some way or another. It's really, really important. And that's because of what you guys did by signing up to come here. No other reason. With your will and determination, you've already accomplished the goal of making this the central issue. And that gives us at least a chance of prevailing on it, of making it the kind of thing where the president realizes he has a great opportunity to lead. Okay, just a few, I'm probably already run, I'm just going to give you a couple of little news updates because they're too good not to, okay? And because I hope that they'll make you happy. The first one is, I had a note from Timothy Christopher in jail in Utah day before yesterday, just sending his blessings and love to everybody and saying he's paying close attention. He's got good phone service into the jail there. They're actually moving him to prison, not in Colorado, but in California. That'll happen sometime during our stay here. And I think, Matt, we're going to be signing, trying to get everybody every night to sign on to a card, a big card of some kind to send off. But one of the things he reports, just in case we get stuck in jail for a very long time, is that at least in Utah, all the other prisoners have had a great deal of respect for people, someone who went to prison for standing up to the government, and he's doing just fine. Second thing is, happily, our jail time, I think, is likely to be measured in hours, not years. So, we don't have to be as brave as Tim, but we'll be a little brave. Second thing is, great news today. After really hard work by a lot of people, 2 big labor unions came out against this pipeline project. Not easy to do because the oil companies managed to persuade some of the unions early on to back this thing, and they are backing it, and it's very hard for labor unions to differ with each other and things, but the fact that labor is split on this neutralizes in many ways the advantage that the oil companies have had there. So we owe a great debt of thanks to the Transport Workers Union and the Amalgamated Transit Union. It's about 300 or 400,000 workers who joined in today. Third thing, sometime in the middle of the afternoon, there was the first of what will be many solidarity actions going on around the country and around the world. We've already, literally around the world, people are lining up at consulates and embassies and things over the next 2 weeks, Canadian consulates and embassies, to make the point. Today, some of our religious friends in Massachusetts, and Jim Antall from the United Church of Christ in Massachusetts with us here today, but some of his brethren back home in Boston went to aid clergy, went to the Canadian consulate and embassy and delivered a letter and had a long, apparently, session with the people there. And I'll just read you what the said at the end. Reverend Fred Small, the founder of Religious Witness for the Earth, closed the meeting, took it as his wont to close the meeting with a prayer. He said, "We know that you as public officials can't tell us how troubled or untroubled you may be by this project, but we hope we have troubled you. We pray for your health and happiness and loss of sleep. And, rest assured that people are beginning to feel the heat a little bit in the oil industry, in Canada, and in the White House. Third thing, I just wanted to read you one more note that came today from someone who I revere and who has done so much of this for so long, so well, and that would be Terry Tempest Williams, the great Utah writer, and one of my oldest friends in the world. And it's going to take me a minute to find this thing, so I'm going to read you as I'm looking for it a tiny passage from something she wrote a few years ago. You'll recall that Terry comes from Utah, and most of her family, most of the women in her family suffered from breast cancer after those tests, nuclear tests, in the 50s and 60s. She has said, closed a chapter of Great Book Refuge by saying, "I crossed the line at the Nevada test site and was arrested with 9 other Utahns for trespassing on military land. They're still conducting nuclear tests in the desert. Ours was an act of civil disobedience. But as I walked toward the town of Mercury, it was more than a gesture of peace. It was a gesture on behalf of the clan of one-breasted women. As one officer cinched the handcuffs around my wrists, another frisked my body. She found a pen and a pad of paper tucked inside my left boot. And these?" she asked sternly. "Weapons," I replied. Our eyes met. I smiled. She pulled the leg of my trousers back over my boot. "Step forward, please." We were booked under an afternoon sun and bused to Tonopah, Nevada. It was a 2-hour ride. This was familiar country. The Joshua trees standing their ground had been named by my ancestors who believed they looked like prophets pointing west to the promised land. These were the same trees that bloomed each spring, flowers appearing like white flames in the Mojave. And I recalled a full moon in Maine when Mother and I had walked among them, flushing out mourning doves and owls. The bus stopped short of town. We were released. The officials thought it was a cruel joke to leave us stranded in the desert with no way to get home. What they didn't realize was that we were home, soul-centered and strong. Women who recognized the sweet smell of sage as fuel for our spirits. We will be in a less completely enchanting place in a sense tomorrow than that. And we may be a little uncomfortable. It's going to be 93 tomorrow, but I'm wearing my suit anyway. I live out in the country. My friend Chris Shaw and Sue Kavanaugh back there will be witness to the fact that I wear a tie only to weddings and funerals, but I'm wearing one tomorrow because we're determined, among other things, to demonstrate who the radicals are here. Yeah, I'm done. Who the radicals are here. And when we do, and it's not us, it's the people changing the composition of the atmosphere, when we do, we will have done something important. Let me just finish by reading Terry's note from today. "Do be careful. No act of civil resistance can be treated lightly. I know you know this. The gravity of the act is its power. The uncertainty of the act is a force like water capable of cracking stone." Terry Tempest.